Friends, welcome to the Freedom Forge channel. Today we are going to have perhaps the most important conversation for any man who wants not just to find a woman, but to keep her by his side while preserving his own dignity. Let's get started. Let me tell you one thing that might take a hit at your ego, but it is necessary to open your eyes. A woman can be with you, live in your house, sleep in your bed, and yet mentally already be in the arms of another man. And this doesn't happen because you aren't handsome enough. Not because you don't earn enough or drive an old car. Sometimes the reason lies in the fact that you simply didn't understand what she was actually starving for. You gave her everything except that single ingredient without which her feelings die. And the scariest part of this situation is that you won't even notice the end approaching. She won't announce it like in a dramatic movie with tears and smashing dishes. No, she will start changing quietly, slowly, almost imperceptibly. There will be a little less warmth, a little less respect in her gaze, less openness. You will hear phrases like, "I'm just tired, nothing happened, everything is fine." More often, you will feel the distance, a cold layer of air between you. And while you are thinking she is just stressed because of work or she is going through a tough time, someone else is already becoming the place where she feels relief. But before you trigger a defensive reaction or start looking for someone to blame in the outside world, I ask you to take a deep breath and be ruthlessly honest with yourselves. Right now, rewind the film of your memory back to those relationships that left you with a strange aftertaste of things left unsaid. Remember, did you ever have that oppressive feeling that the woman was staying not because she was drawn to you like a magnet, but as if she were doing you a huge condescending favor by being there? Did you notice how her voice lost its former warmth, turning into a formal set of sounds? How she stopped sharing her inner experiences, and your humor, which used to make her laugh sincerely, suddenly began to meet only cold, polite silence? Did you see how that alive, hungry fire in her eyes, which once burned only for you, slowly faded, replaced by frightening, glassy indifference? That is that terrifying moment when you physically feel the invisible wall between you, becoming thicker every day, turning two once people into random neighbors who simply share the same living space. This is not an accident. It didn't just happen. This is a signal. It is a red light wailing like a siren, but most men ignore it until it becomes too late. It points to one fundamental thing that most guys overlook. The most important thing every woman needs from a man is not money. It is not sweet speeches and compliments. It is not even love in the way it is described in pop songs. It is emotional safety. What is emotional safety really? Let's do this without skepticism or rolling eyes. I am not here to turn you into nice guys or teach you to tolerate any whim just to keep the peace. We are talking about things much deeper. A woman can be with a successful rich man and feel constant anxiety, or she can be with an ordinary guy without millions and feel that peace for which she remains faithful for a lifetime. So, what is it in practice? It's simple. Emotional safety is when in your presence she doesn't need to hold a 360 degrees defense, wear a mask, or wait for betrayal. She can express an unpopular opinion, make a stupid mistake, or simply be in a bad mood, knowing firmly that this will not lead to a war of egos, an outburst of rage, or cold ignoring. She no longer needs to be a tightrope walker without a safety net, afraid to make a wrong move, lest she fall into the abyss because of your mood. This exhausting state of constant internal control sucks all the life force out of her, turning your home not into a cozy haven, but into a court of law where every action she takes is evaluated by a strict gaze. The problem is that when safety disappears, a woman doesn't run away immediately. She switches on a dangerous mode called caution. Remember this state. She stops speaking the direct truth, starts filtering every word, and tests your stability on small problems, trying to understand if you will fall apart from the big ones. She slowly turns into a pale shadow of herself, because her instinct for self-preservation constantly whispers that any sincerity can be used against her. Relationships don't crumble in an instant, but through thousands of such moments when she finally becomes convinced that sincerity with you costs her too much. And here is the main secret that almost everyone misses. Safety is not random chemistry, but a solid structure that rests on 4 principles of your daily behavior. Let's break them down right now, so you stop losing to men who may not be better than you, but definitely know how to create this invisible support. Principle 1. Personal confidence. Let's clarify immediately. When I speak of personal confidence, I don't mean loud, showy confidence. I'm not talking about the guy who laughs the loudest at the bar, beats his chest, and tries to look like an alpha male to get attention. That isn't confidence. That's clowning. I'm talking about something quieter, but much more powerful, about knowing who you are. A woman feels emotionally safe with a man who doesn't need to beg for love, with a man who doesn't need to force a connection, with a man who doesn't need to shrink and make himself smaller to be chosen. It tells her without words, I want you, but I don't need you to survive. I can love you, but I won't lose myself to keep you. And this is safety, because the most emotionally unsafe man is not always the rude man or the abuser. Sometimes it's the man who is in despair, the man who cannot handle distance, the man who panics when she goes silent for an hour, the man who starts explaining too much, writing huge texts, showering her with gifts, trying to earn her favor. At first, it might look like strong love, like passion, but deep down, it feels like pressure. Heavy, sticky pressure. When a man doesn't know who he is, he starts doing things that kill safety. He ignores his own standards just so she won't leave. He tolerates disrespect just to avoid conflict. He turns every small problem into a fear of abandonment. And she feels it not because women are mean, but because a woman naturally relaxes only when she is with a man who is whole without her. Let's make this very real. Imagine a guy, Michael. Confident Michael doesn't chase mixed signals. He doesn't beg someone to communicate with him. He doesn't try to squeeze into the life of a woman who won't open the door for him. If she acts confusingly, Mike doesn't start putting on a show. He gets clarity. He moves with the position, either we are building something real or I am out of the game. No drama, no threats, no manipulation, just self-respect. And here is what many miss. This calm ability to walk away from what doesn't suit you is exactly what makes a woman feel safe staying with you, because she knows you are not with her out of fear of loneliness. You are with her by choice. And when love is a choice, not a need, it becomes clean. It becomes stable. It becomes masculine. Many men think confidence is proving something to a woman. No. Confidence is having an identity that doesn't collapse when she is in a bad mood, when she is cold, or when she tests you. It is you saying through your actions, I won't beg, I won't force, I won't chase. If you want me, it must be mutual. When a woman feels this, she stops thinking she can manipulate your emotions. She stops feeling like she has to manage you like a child. She relaxes because a man who knows who he is predictable in the best sense of the word. Not boring, but stable. And this stability is the first brick in the foundation of emotional safety. Principle 2. Leadership. The word leadership is often misunderstood. I'm not talking about controlling a woman. I'm not talking about the patriarchal, I am the man, you must obey. That is insecurity dressed up in a costume of strength. Real leadership is simpler and deeper. It is knowing where you are going, and your life doesn't collapse or stop just because a woman has entered it. A woman feels with her skin whether a man has a spine. Not a loud voice, but a spine. The type of man who wakes up and has a purpose. The type of man who is building something. The type of man who can say without begging in his voice, I like you, baby, but I won't abandon myself and my goals to entertain you. This is leadership. And listen closely. Women don't follow a man because he commands loudly. They follow a man because his life proves he is moving in the right direction. Let me give you an example. Imagine Jason. Jason has focus. He doesn't disappear from his path just because she called. He doesn't drop important work because she suddenly wanted attention right now. He doesn't sacrifice his future to prove his love today. But at the same time, he isn't cold. He isn't indifferent. He communicates like a grown man. Baby, I'm working right now. I'm busy with something important. I'll call you in the evening and we'll have a great time. Not rude, not guilty, just clear. Because the truth is, if you abandon your mission for a woman, she might enjoy it in the moment. She'll be flattered that you came running at her first call, but deep down, she will start asking herself, so, what kind of man is this? If I can knock him off his path so easily, just by beckoning with my finger, can he withstand the real problems of life? Can he protect us when a real storm comes? And this is exactly where emotional safety starts to wobble. A woman feels safe with a man who can manage his world because she thinks long-term, even if she doesn't say it out loud. If pressure starts, will this man stand tall? If life gets hard, will he continue to lead us? If I get too emotional, will he get confused and drop everything? Leadership is attractive because it creates a future. A man who grows, who improves himself, who sharpens his skills, becomes a man a woman can respect without forcing herself. He surprises her with progress, not with gifts every weekend, but with results, a new achievement, a new level of discipline, a new victory. And this does something special to a woman's heart. She feels she is standing next to a man who is becoming more, not with a man who is stuck in development and blames the whole world for it. That is why women love to follow such men. Not because they are perfect, but because they are consistent in their growth. And let's be honest, this is exactly why some women lose interest in their boyfriends, not because the guy is too nice, but because the guy has no vector. He is available for everything except his own progress. He has time for arguments, for jealousy, for scrolling through feeds endlessly, for games, but he has no serious relationship with his own goals. And a woman feels this emptiness. She might not say it directly, but she will show it. She will start pushing you, testing you, challenging you because she is trying to feel, is there a man inside who can stand up and lead his life? So, leadership is not dominance. It is direction. It is discipline. It is growth. It is building something that you yourself can be proud of. And when a woman feels this, she relaxes in a completely different way. She knows she isn't dating a boy who needs to be guided and raised. She is with a man she can trust. Principle 3, self-respect. This principle is heavy, and I'm going to be very direct. A woman cannot feel emotionally safe with a man who doesn't respect himself. This is an axiom because a man without self-respect usually ends up in one of two roles. He becomes either a doormat or a sleeping volcano. The doormat version accepts any nonsense just to keep her. He makes excuses. He apologizes even when he isn't guilty. He accepts disrespect and calls it compromise or love, and she might enjoy the control at first. Yes. But deep down, she stops believing in his strength. She thinks if he can't protect his own dignity from me, how will he protect anything else in this world? Then there is the sleeping volcano version. This man, let's call him Brian, tolerates disrespect. He laughs it off. He says everything is fine, but inside resentment accumulates and pressure builds. He swallows it day after day. And then one fine day, he just blows up over some trifle, like an unwashed plate. He pours out everything that is piled up all at once, and she is in shock because she didn't see this coming. This is emotional danger. She never knows where she stands. She never knows when the eruption will begin. Self-respect is what makes your love clean. It is what makes relationships stable because boundaries don't create problems. Boundaries reveal problems. A boundary is when you say, this is how I move through life. This is what I accept, and this is what I don't. Period. No threats, no insults, no hysteria, just clarity. And a woman might test this clarity not because she hates you. Sometimes she is checking, is this man real, or is he just playing the role of a tough guy? And if your boundaries disappear the moment she gets emotional or sheds a tear, she learns a lesson. This guy has no backbone. I can push him anywhere. Then respect dies. And when respect dies, emotional safety dies with it. I know what some guys are thinking right now. Okay, but if I set hard boundaries, won't she leave? Let's be honest, brothers. If a woman leaves you only because you showed respect for yourself, she was never a safe option for you anyway, because emotional safety is not a one-way street. Real relationships are two people who feel safe. You cannot build a healthy union with someone who demands your humiliation as payment for their presence. Principle 4, honesty. We've talked about confidence, leadership, self-respect, but there is one principle that can destroy all of the above, even if you are fine with the others. And it is this principle that men underestimate most often. It is honesty. Let me say this as clearly as possible. A woman doesn't need you to be perfect, but she vitally needs to know that you are real. Because lies and lack of clarity create a special type of anxiety that doesn't go away. Even if she never catches you red-handed, even if she never presents you with evidence, her body will feel it. Female intuition is not magic. It is survival. It is thousands of years of evolution. And when she starts to feel that something doesn't add up, she changes. She becomes suspicious. She becomes jumpy. She starts checking things quietly while you sleep. Not because she is a crazy, hysterical woman, but because her nervous system is trying to protect her from a hidden threat. And here, many men make a mistake. They think honesty just means not cheating physically. No, my friends. Honesty is much bigger than just fidelity in bed. Honesty means not selling dreams you don't intend to fulfill. It means not promising what you cannot give. It means not acting serious today and tomorrow, disappearing and acting like a bachelor. It means not hiding your true intentions and then calling her insecure when she reacts to your shadiness. Because nothing kills emotional safety faster than confusion. A woman can handle a hard truth. She can survive rejection. She can understand if you say, "I'm not ready for a serious relationship right now." What she cannot handle is uncertainty, the feeling that she cannot trust your words. Because once your words lose value, everything else starts to crumble. Your leadership turns into a performance by a bad actor. Your boundaries become an attempt at manipulation. Your confidence looks like the arrogance of a liar. That is why honesty is the foundation. And I'm not talking about soft honesty where you confess everything indiscriminately to look like an innocent boy. I'm talking about real integrity. One life, one face, one story. Your words match your actions. When a woman feels this integrity, magic happens. She relaxes. She exhales because she knows where she stands. She doesn't need to guess. She doesn't need to overthink. She doesn't need to play detective. Conclusion. So now you see the full picture of how relationship mechanics actually work. Emotional safety is not about romance, scented candles or rose petals scattered in the bedroom. For those are just decorations, and we are talking about the foundation. It is about structure and that invisible environment your presence creates when you walk into a room. Think of it as a unified system where personal confidence makes you stable, guaranteeing that you won't collapse under the pressure of circumstances, and leadership makes you reliable, showing everyone around that you know the way. Added to this is self-respect, which makes you solid, so you don't bend under a changing world, and honesty, making you trustworthy simply because you are real. And when you have these four elements assembled, an amazing transformation occurs. A woman no longer needs to defend herself from you or wait for a trick. She can finally afford to be soft without fear and open without regrets. She starts respecting you not because she forces herself to do so, but because it is a natural reaction to your strength. And this is exactly why some men keep female loyalty and devotion for years, without even begging for it or making visible efforts. This happens not because they just got lucky, and not because they are fabulously wealthy, but because they built that base, which most men arrogantly ignore. Remember, when she looks at you, she shouldn't just see a lover or a sponsor. She should see a rock, the place where life's storm quiets down, not where it begins. It is vitally important for her to know that however chaotic the world outside may be, next to you reigns order and calm upon which she can lean. Yes, the most important thing every woman needs from a man is emotional safety, and it comes only through these four unbreakable principles: confidence, leadership, self-respect, and honesty. So right now, look at your relationships and then honestly look in the mirror. What is missing specifically for you? Where did you show weakness and allowed chaos to penetrate your structure? Fix this not for her, but fix this for yourself, because your inner strength is the only currency that never depreciates. A man possessing these qualities wins in life in any case, regardless of who stands next to him. Hit the like button on this video if it resonated with you, and subscribe so you don't miss the next interesting and educational videos. And be sure to write in the comments which of these four principles seems the most difficult for you to master. I read your thoughts. See you in the next video.